Salutations, friends. I look a little bit different today, and that is for a reason. Today we're doing a little bit different of a themed video. Now normally I am all for the very kind of soft, neutral, elegant, vintage vibes, but I have had a tartan skirt sitting in my project pile for about a year now, and it has just been waiting to get turned into a pair of punky pants. So this is what you get to look at today, at least for the intro and outro. For those of you who missed last Thursday's video, first off, please go watch that after you finish this one, or right now, whenever. In that video, I explained that before I was this, and I still love the whole punky style. I just don't do it nearly as often as I used to because I'm more fond of wearing sort of the 40s and 50s vintage style nowadays. I especially loved the 80s and 90s sort of punk, so when I saw this skirt in the thrift store, I just knew that it was destiny for it to be turned into a pair of those classic tartan trousers. And here's how I did it. Okay, first let's get a good look at what the original skirt looked like. Obviously, as you can see, it is a bit big on me, but that was perfectly fine by me since it gave me the extra fabric I needed to turn it into pants. Before I even thought about tearing apart this skirt, I took a pattern from a pair of trousers that I already owned that fit me well, then I made a mock-up and copied that onto some very loud wrapping paper to make a pattern that I can reuse in the future. I wanted to make sure I did all of this before I started chopping up the skirt because I am very new to the world of pants making, and before these I had only ever made one pair of pants and they turned out terrible and I never wore them because they just looked so bad. So I was quite nervous about this. It only made the trouser terror worse knowing that I had a very limited amount of fabric and would only get really one chance to get it right. So yes, all of this prep work was necessary, and I think totally worth it in the end. So now that all that was done, I started seam ripping everything apart, and I mean everything. I pretty much only use this thing for its fabric and its waistband, so I just ripped and ripped and ripped along until I had all these random shapes and sizes of this beautiful red tartan goodness. I made sure to iron all of my pieces, yes, all of them, just as an extra precaution. Anxiety aside, it is always a good idea to wash and press your fabric before you start on a project. I know it's an easy step to just toss aside and skip, but trust me, it makes the outcome look way better and it makes the sewing process way easier when your fabric ain't all wrinkly and gross. Next, I laid out the largest fabric pieces on the floor because I have yet to be blessed with a big, shiny, beautiful sewing table, and I laid my pattern pieces on top, working to see how they would best fit on the fabric that I had. I started with the front, if you didn't catch that very subtle labeling there that I put on the pattern to make sure I wouldn't forget which piece was which, and I cut it out. Very carefully, I cut it out, sweating and panicking the whole way, but it turned out okay. At least it turned out okay for the first piece. For the second piece, well, the button placket on the skirt where the buttonholes were was just a little too far into where I needed to cut, so I ended up having to use another piece of tartan to add to that crotch seam area to make the fabric big enough for my pattern to fit. And luckily, you can hardly tell in the final product. Next, I cut out the back, this time a little less stressed since I had a bit more wiggle room. Not much wiggle room, but a little bit, and everything got cut out. It was okay. Nobody died. Well, I'm sure that within the world people died, you know, just statistically, but I don't think anybody died as a direct result of me cutting the skirt up. Except the skirt, I guess. It died. You know what, just forget I even said anything. How about we actually get some sewing done in this sewing video, shall we? I first sewed the matching halves together, so front to front, back to back, side to side. Wait. No, the side to side comes later. Before we sew the sides, we have to sew in the darts so that the pants fit around my flat little ass. Just kidding. It's an okay ass. Love your body, kids. And then I made what every modern lady wishes she had, pockets. I just made some simple patch pockets for both the front and back, and I know I was bragging about them just now, but I actually put them too high up on the hips, so they ended up being kind of uncomfortable to use. Still usable though, so kind of a win. And they do be cute, so, you know. Okay, now we can finally sew up the sides, basting about 6 or 7 inches at the top of one of the seams so we can insert a zipper. Now don't judge, I know I'm bad at putting in zippers, and I know I should really use a zipper foot, but I don't have one, and I'm too lazy to buy one, okay? Just get off my back, okay? I'm just kidding, I love you, please don't leave me. Alright, now they are looking kind of like pants. Let's just pin up and sew those inside seams and give them a little try on, and woo! Yeah, baby, look at those pants. Look at how excited I am, jumping up and down in my fancy little pants. I was so happy, but I had to calm down. Focus. We weren't done yet. We still have some waistbands and leg hems to get done. I pretty much just kept the waistband exactly how it was on the skirt. The only change I made was to take an inch or two off the end with the button just to make it fit around my waist better, and attached it to the pants the same way it was attached to the skirt, just following along with how it was originally constructed. Easy peasy punk pants. And just to add on the button, there we go. Just using the same button that was already on the skirt. And finally, I turned up the hem at the bottom of the pants by 1/2 inch and then again by 5/8 an inch and just top stitched around both legs, and here they are. They turned out so well. I am so proud of these for my second pair of pants ever. I think the biggest help was taking a pattern from an already existing pair of pants, whereas the last time I attempted pants, I thought I could draft my own pattern, which was so ignorant of me. But let's not dwell on past failures. Today, this was a win. I am so happy. They're closer to a capri length, and that's just due to the length of the skirt, but I kind of prefer it. I was planning on wearing these with some knee-high boots either way, but I think the shorter length is actually going to make them more versatile in other parts of my wardrobe as well. I feel like I could totally even style them as, like, 50s. Who knows? We'll see. And that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed watching this thrift flip and going along with me, and I am very proud of these pants. I think they turned out amazing for my second attempt ever at making a pair of pants. Especially considering the last attempt, which was about a year ago as well, didn't turn out so great. And now I even have a pattern that I know works that I can use to make some cute vintagey trousers in the future. If you did enjoy watching, make sure you click that like button, and if you want to stick around and see more of me and the things that I do, usually a little bit more neutral in 40s and 50s than punky, then feel free to subscribe. I upload every Tuesday and Thursday, and I would absolutely love to have you. And that's all I gotta say. I'll see you next Tuesday with a new vlog, and don't forget to wash your hands. Goodbye.
Hey, I need that. You can't stay there. Bagheera, you gotta move. That's my pattern paper. Or you can take a nap. Okay. I feel like that one Jonathan Colton song, the Mr. Fancy Pants song. Hold on.
That's fine, that's fine.
Good skill at sewing shirts, our young sister Susie's door.
Good, don't say pistols.
And the pistols say they sooner sleep on pistols.
That's great.
And the
Fine, fine.
soldier is